Oh, hi. I'm Raw Tactics, and I have too many hobbies. So today, we're going to be smoking my meat, and while I'm playing with my meat, we're going to check out my cars. This is my Honda Accord, and this is my Cadillac CTS. Both of them are primarily in good running order. However, there's a lot of issues, a lot of stuff I've been working on, a lot of stuff we're going to be working on. Start with the shit box. We're here from Korea. I don't know what happened, but there was mold growing on the inside. They jumped the car like 3 times. They blew a bunch of fuses throughout the car. One of the main things was the headlights that ended up just being a fuse. Well, let's go ahead and hop in the car and I'm gonna show you some of the other stuff we've been doing. So unfortunately my seats are cooked. You can see where the leather was before. This is supposed to be softer than it is, but in areas like this thing is rock solid. And it's like that all up the back of the chair too. I think that is sun damage, which has already caused cracking. These weren't here before. I'm wanting to just do an entire seat swap, hopefully. I'm hoping to catch one of these at a scrapyard. This car is really common. You see them there all the time, so I'm hoping I can do that. Another thing that I've already done is this. So adding this was huge. Originally, the screen that was up here was just a small screen. There is an aux cord. The aux was actually messed up as well, so I had to get back behind here, and I've already replaced that. I was originally using this little U-Green Bluetooth adapter. However, now we don't need any of that. This has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and a bunch of other functionality that has been a huge quality of life improvement, making this a daily driver. Another huge thing, I don't know how it happened, but there was mold growing all along the door handles and in the cup holder. I got all of that out, but the roof is terrible. There's all types of markings. There's like stains. I don't know how any of this stuff got here. There was some minor staining when I first got the car. The roof liner is falling off in the back. That's something I want to fix eventually too. Yeah, it's just kind of gross. Several places on the outside of the car that were not this jacked up before. If you look right here, this is just clear coat. It kind of ate into the paint. I don't know what was spilled here. There's some really bad spots up on the roof where whatever was spilled on the car is eating through the clear coat and the paint. Now, when they were getting ready to haul the car out here, at some point when they blew all those fuses, it blew the headlight fuse, but it also blew the tail lights. So to replace the tail lights on this is really simple. There's a couple of screws right here. You take these screws out, fold this down, it gives you direct access to the tail lights. You just pop a new one in, very simple. What has not been simple? These subs I've had in this car for about 7 years. Amazing Kenwood subs, been bumping nonstop for almost 7 years. They blew the amp. So I did a lot of testing. I spent several days running through troubleshooting everything I possibly could. I narrowed it down to the amp. So we replaced the amp. 2 days in, the amp goes out and it blew my subs. So now I do have a good quality amp, but the subs are blown. That's another project that I'm planning on doing in the future. When I do upgrade the subs, we'll probably rewire the whole thing as well, depending on if you guys want to see that or not. Recording. So now moving under the hood, I have already replaced the battery. That was one of the troubleshooting steps. This is a much better battery. I went through like 3 batteries in the 2 years I was in Korea. Absolutely ridiculous. However, there was so much corrosion. If you look right here, I was tightening down the bolt after troubleshooting and the thing just ripped. So that's something we're also probably going to be taking care of today. Mechanically, as I was saying, the car is in pretty sound condition. There's a few major issues though. If we look right here, the power steering pump has had a very small leak over the last several years. It is common for the O-ring inside of here to fail, so I replaced that O-ring and it didn't fix it. I'm going to be replacing the power steering pump today. In addition to the power steering pump, it sits directly above the alternator. And if you can see how disgusting that alternator is, this has been slowly leaking onto that for several years. In addition to that, below the alternator is the AC compressor. And the AC compressor has been getting leaked onto for several years. So, if you guys are interested, that will be a line of videos that I plan on making. We're definitely getting the power steering pump taken care of today because there's a crazy whine that happens when you start up the car and every time you turn. We're going to handle that. We also have the Honda specific power steering fluid. Whenever you work on the transmission, the power steering pump, most of the stuff for Hondas, you need to use their specific fluid. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So this car is absolutely beautiful. I love the metallic flake. I love the blacked out look of this. However, the people that had it before me blacked out the chrome in a really cheap way. This is something that I'm really wanting to fix, because if you look down here, you can see that this vinyl wrap is starting to peel off and how poorly this was done. It's even more noticeable when we work around the door. So there's two things. This is supposed to be chrome, and you can see the overlapping layers where they did a really bad job at wrapping this. And then this right here, that off color, where everything is kind of flaky looking, these panels have been known to be bad. This is a common thing that happens on almost every one of these and on some of the Impalas and Malibus of the same year. Now, unfortunately, just this one plastic L is $150 a piece. So we're not going to be replacing those. What I plan on doing is taking off all the vinyl wrap, sanding these down, sanding the wrap down, wrapping up the car, and painting it. If you guys are interested in that, I would love to record that. But we'll see what happens there. Same thing here. This is all chrome. As you can see, there's small pieces that are starting to flake off. And then down here in the back, I hate this. I hate that so much. Because when you look at the car, it's got all the metallic flake, everything's blacked out, then boom. I hate it. Now, one thing that I really love that I've done just recently, and I'll include some B-roll, that Honda has two 12s in the trunk. This only has one 12, but this one 12 is more powerful than those two 12s combined, and it hits so hard. I just recently installed this. But one thing that I am gonna do, I need to add a grill to this so I can actually use the trunk space. I didn't go with two 12s due to space. This has a little bit more restrictive trunk in the back. This takes up less room, still makes this usable, and as a daily driver, I kind of wanted that trunk space. Eventually, I would love to custom fit a 12 here, and then a 12 over on that side. They would fit perfectly. I will show you some of the stuff I love about this car. With the battery being in the trunk, it made that extremely easy to access, and wiring was much, much shorter. It also has this little easy access port because there's a fuse box in here. I was also able to route the main fuse for the sub wiring right here, making it easily accessible. If I ever need to change it out, if I end up blowing it at some point in the future, I can change it easier. With the battery being back here, it just made everything so much more streamlined. The only cable that I had to actually run through the entire car was just the base knob. Made the whole thing crazy easy to install. So the Cadillac is in much, much better condition internally and mechanically. I do want to add a oil catch can to the front. That's something I plan on doing. This is a direct inject engine. If you know anything about gasoline direct injection, pretty much every one of these cars needs an oil catch can. This one is way overdue for that. I'm looking at potentially tearing down part of the engine, cleaning off the valve stems, and adding that oil catch can. In addition, the interior, the only other two things of note, the switch for the seat controls. The forward switch, when you move it like that, does not always work. It's kind of jank. I found the switches online. You get the whole mechanism for like $20 or $30, I think. It's a relatively easy fix. That's something I plan on doing just for, comfort. But in addition, this is also a very, very common problem for this model car. Yeah, that's bad. That's got to be fixed. So we're going to be fixing that sunshade. The sunshade itself, they have them on sale for about $65 on Amazon. That's not too bad. It is a few hours worth of work potentially though, because I have to go around and take off everything on the roof. Luckily, with this being the panoramic version, I'm able to just sit here on the center console, drop in between it, and then just get up here and swap that out. It should be a relatively straightforward job. That's something I want to do pretty soon because I am tired of this. Every time you open it, I'm tired of every time you open it, that happens. And it's crazy how common this is. It happens on pretty much every one of these cars that has a panoramic roof, including the Impalas and Malibus. Much it. The Cadillac doesn't have much to do. The Honda has a bit to do. There's other things that I have kind of planned for the future, but I want to know how you guys feel. Do you want to see all the work that I'm doing with these? Do you want to see the progression over time? Do you want to see how to do the full install of the sound system? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on all that. But right now, I got to get to work, so we're going to go change this power steering pump.